Hi, I am Gemma, obviously, and I am a witch. Long story short, I hate TikTok, and I think it has done irreversible damage to the craft, which is why I have decided to make this channel so that I can try and clean this up. Because at the end of the day, it's great that we have more witches in the community. It's just I don't feel comfortable going on through my life knowing that these witches are getting the wrong information. Um, and especially witches that are coming out of like bigger religions like Christianity, for example. There's a lot of like toxic stigma around how you must behave, like how you must act, and how the gods respond to like your craft, which isn't true at all. As a matter of fact, I think it's a very toxic mindset that we need to get out of witchcraft and a lot of other pagan ideals, because it's just not needed, sis. So I have decided to turn this channel into trying to undo that thread. Of course, I'm not going to know everything, but I will do my best to sort of be a guide, because I've been a witch for a very long time, 10 years, and I've got a lot of wisdom to give. So feel free to ask questions. I will be more than happy to answer as best I can. Feel free to just want to learn, because that's the main part of this. Witchcraft, it's got that magic word in it, craft. It's all about learning, it's all about growing, and it's all about doing things that make you feel good about yourself. I also have a fan blowing, so I'm so sorry if you can hear like the of it. I'm not going to turn it off. It is hot as balls in this house, especially in my room, because my room just likes to retain heat. It just hates me. It's just, we're over it. Anyway, first things first, when I say witchcraft, I am talking about a craft. I'm not talking about a religion. I am religious. I am actually pagan. There is more to it than that. I'm not just the umbrella term of pagan. There is specifics, but I will get into that in a more specific detail and video if people are actually interested in that, because at the end of the day, I don't want to come across preachy, because that's how cults are made. So I have a list. No, I have a list. You can't see that because it's on black paper. Aren't I clever? Anyway, I have a list. So we're going to go over these things. And in my humble opinion, these are some very important, let me say that again, important craft tricks and tips, I guess. Things to start. Things like that I personally think you should know going into witchcraft and into, in general, pagan like thoughts. Because at the end of the day, it's not woo-wah. Well, it is woo-wah, but it's not all woo-wah. And at the end of the day, I don't want people to go into this thinking, this is going to solve all my problems. Sis, it's probably not. I'm sorry, but like you can't just throw some lavender in a box and expect that to just cure world hunger. Like, okay, I wish it did, but it's not how it works. Oh my god, learning. Let's get into it, shall we? Number one, I would personally recommend getting into basics. And when I say basics, I'm not talking like how to manipulate energy, how to do a ritual. I'm not talking about that. Those are not the basics, sis. I'm talking science. Because believe it or not, witchcraft is a science. It's very important that you know your basics of science and things like that. For example, astrology is a great place to start, because now I understand not many people understand astrology as a whole. Some people don't even believe in astrology, which is like, okay. But You got to remember, everything you see before you, even myself, my phone that I'm recording on, heck, everything in this damn room and everything in your room and in your life was once part of a star, and that star exploded, created the matter and the atoms that we are stood on and we are part of and we are made from. So therefore, we're all connected to literally stardust. Oh, isn't that cute? No, everything's stardust. It's all the same. It's all the same shit. It's all. It was all once part of the cosmos and the universe, whatever you want to fucking call it. The point is that is a fundamental fact. Science will back that up, and so when you understand this core fundamental of the fact that science and astrology are the same. Sorry, I'm saying the wrong word. I mean astronomy, not just astrology. Like, astrology is great because that's like your zodiac signs and stuff. But I would personally say learn astronomy, stars, planets, dark matter, the whole thing. Learn it, because when you understand where we come from as like a basic element, you can then manipulate that. It's the same with, I guess, what you would call magic, because magic, when you take it down to the minute actual fact of what it is, it's just manipulating matter. Because people were like, no, it's a lot more than that. But yes, but also it's not, because let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. At the end of the day, what you're manipulating is cosmic matter. The next on the list would be biology, because I would say biology is important because you need to, again, understand how the human body works. And I don't mean that you need to get a biology degree. You don't need to become a doctor. You don't need to cure cancer. I'm not saying that, but when you understand, like, again, the basics of how your body works, especially if you are a person who menstruates, it's very important to know your cycle, how your brain works, how your body works to that cycle, so you can understand how your energy and shit connects. The point is that when you understand how the body works, you can then manipulate that in a way that's progressive. Another thing I would personally recommend is chemistry as well. So when I say chemistry, I mean, like, again, understand how, like, basic things mix together. I'm not talking like you need to know the fucking alchemical symbols for everything, but it would be helpful. Of course, we're not making the goddamn Philosopher's Stone here, but it is helpful to understand, like, why, when you mix, let's say, for example, salt with, I guess, water as a most basic fundamental, why that works in chemistry and why that is a thing that is important. Again, I'm not very clever on these things, but if you understand the bare basics and then maybe just a smidgen, a sprinkle of whatever piques your interest, then that's great. Do that. I would also really recommend botany. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people will say, just sprinkle an herb on it. Herbs are very, very important. And a lot of them are also culturally significant. So it's important to understand the botany of not just, like, plants in general, but also your local plants. You're easy breezy. And also physics. I would say learn a good lot of physics as well, especially physics, because, again, the whole, like, forces and pulling and momentum is great. And of course, this just comes full circle, because part of physics is astronomy, not astrology, astronomy. It all comes full circle. You need to know how things work. You need how shit does shit. And this will also help in the long term as well, because let's say, for example, I know a lot of manifestation is a big thing, especially on woo-woo TikTok, because they're all like, oh, just manifest, just that, like, £1 million is just going to land on your doorstep. It's not how that works. So when you understand these core basics of science and how the world around you works, how just things work, you won't get £1,000 at your door, but it will make that £1,000 seem a little bit more reasonable, and you can actually do it in a way that makes it seem more gratifying. Onto a bit of a different topic now, because I know that was quite intense, and I know that might like really turn a lot of people off. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to do a lot of like studying." Well, then this clearly isn't for you if you don't want to learn shit. But the next one I would personally say is really big is meditation, because meditation is not just good for like your energy and stuff. Like it's good for your mental, really, really good for your mental. I suffer from severe mental health, like anxiety, depression, ADHD. I've got the lot, and it's one of those where I don't have excuses for my behavior, but meditation helps me understand it, and it helps me to process it, because at the end of the day, life is stressful. And so I personally think that meditating for like 10-15 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes a day, do it on your lunch breaks if you are like me and you have a 9 to 5. Just take 5 minutes to just calm yourself down, get back into grounding and reality, and it really helps you process that what stressed you out, basically. Now, of course, I'm not trying to say pseudoscience like you should, this is it, like never go to the doctor again. No, this isn't going to cure all your problems, but it will help make things a little bit easier in terms of sorting it out and trying to unpack it. Because at the end of the day, if you need to go to the doctor, go to the doctor. That's their job. I understand that sometimes it can be really, really hard to go to the doctor, but if you can find a way, as well as medicating, if you have to, if you can find a way to talk to a doctor, go to therapy, sort shit out in that way, then meditation just kind of helps ease the transition for your brain. Because, like I said, if you're having a really stressful moment and you just need 5 minutes, do it. Just find somewhere really quiet, bring your mind back to your breath, and just focus on that. And it really helps, like, let it go, if that makes sense. You don't have to make war and peace with it. You can literally just sit on your bed and do it for like 5 minutes before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning. I personally do it in the morning before I have to leave for work, because I like to have a cup of tea before work if I'm not like already late. If I am late, I will do it at work on my lunchtime. But even then, it will just be, I'll just go to the park that's not too far away from work, and I'll just sit down on the benches, and I'll just sit there and I'll just focus on my breath. You don't have to close your eyes. You don't have to do the whole like, you know, thing. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can literally just sit there, eyes open in a moment, but focus on your breath. Try and calm down, process things around you. That's what I do. And it helps so much. Again, I am on medication, so it's not like I said, a be all end all to your problems, but it will certainly help. And bringing it back to not just mental health, bringing it to the idea of like witchcraft, it will be really helpful for you because it will help you process things. Like, we'll come on to like psychic abilities and stuff later, because that is something that I do think is important to talk about when it comes to witchcraft, especially. But when, let's say, for example, if you are finishing a spell, or if you have just done a divination, for example, sometimes it's really helpful to just meditate and take 5 minutes to process it, because then you can be like, I didn't think of that before. You've pulled the death card, for example. Okay, that's clearly about like a new beginning. But then you might look at it and think, actually, wait a minute, this happened a few days ago. That's technically a new beginning. Oh, is the card referring to this? I want to look deeper into that. Oh, I should probably research more about this. You see what I'm saying? It starts to help get you down the rabbit hole, so to speak. The next thing I would personally recommend that you do is keep a notebook. Now, I know that like TikTok and Instagram and all the plagues of the universe like to tell you that to keep a glorified grimoire or a book of shadows if you're, into that one as well. But again, we'll go into, if you want to know what the difference is, let me know. But at the end of the day, you don't need to do that. Yes, I have a grimoire, but I don't treat it like a notebook. I have a separate notebook. My grimoire is there just for specific things. So, like, let's say, for example, if I want to look at specific runes, and I want to understand a specific rune and how to write something, I go to my grimoire for that. I will go to my deities through my grimoire. Like, everything I learn about them is in there. Again, I've got my grimoire and I have my book of shadows, even though it's not a book of shadows, it's literally just my notebook. But in there is, again, everything that I just scribble down, something really quick of like the human brain, especially for ADHD people, is a curse. And oh my God, it's terrible living in here because I forget so much shit. I forget so much crap. And sometimes it's just really helpful. So just make notes. And again, you don't need to make it War and Peace. We do not give a crap about how things look in this house. We just care about practicality and making sure that it works for you. Because if you want to then take those notes and then put them into a fancy grimoire like I do, that's great. You can do that too. But at the end of the day, focus on writing notes that are efficient first, and then write it in a grimoire, because you don't want to. I know that some people hate like taking their ideas and putting them in an order, because the brain doesn't work like that. The brain doesn't start from the very beginning of a sentence. It starts the middle of a sentence, and then you'll help yourself unpack, wait a minute, where did that thought come from? Let's go back, let's unwind, da-da-da. You know what I'm trying to say? The brain is a lot more complex, and sometimes it's helpful to note that down, write that down, so that way you can come back to it. Next on my list I've got is connecting with nature. The reason I would personally say connect with nature is because there's a lot going on in the world lately, and sometimes it really helps to stay grounded. Again, this kind of comes back to the meditation side of things, but when I say connect with nature, I don't mean like you need to sit there and be all like, if you don't want to. I mean just like going for a walk in the park. Brilliant way of connecting with nature. Just sit down, if it's nice, obviously outside, sit down on the ground, just chill, look around you, really connect with being outside, touching grass. I would personally recommend at some point connecting with the trees in your area, especially the spirits of those trees. We can go into that separately at another point, but if you know how to do it, because trees are root-wise connected to each other. I don't know what the actual like logic behind it is, but it's proven some point in science that the roots of a tree are all connected. They all link up, and I don't know how it personally works. I think it's something to do with electrons. What I'm trying to say is that they communicate to each other. It's not like a communication like this. It's not like human communication where they're like, oh, did you see what Betty was wearing? It's more like, this is a place that's safe. The ground here is like this. The ground here is like that. You know what I'm trying to say? It helps trees to be like, oh, obviously in their own tree-ish way, to be like, I can go there. I can grow there. I guess buildings, a lot of buildings hold memories. Tree holds memories too. They are alive. They breathe and all that good stuff. So it's important to kind of connect to the local trees in your area, because it reminds the trees that you are good. And also as well, it just keeps your mind happy, because it keeps you in the now. It keeps you in the reality that you're in. Because especially if you're going to start doing like space work and a lot of like spirit work, it's important to stay grounded in reality as much as possible, because once you're done, come back to reality, so that way you don't get a bit lost and disoriented. I would personally say my final recommendation for brand new witches who are people who want to get into this, who are interested in this, my number one recommendation is get off social media. Get off TikTok, and if that wasn't obvious, because there's just so much misinformation, and that's again part of the reason why I'm doing this channel, is to help de-influence a lot of it. You can go months without doing anything. You don't have to do it every day. You don't have to wake up and be like, oh, I'm about to connect with the spirit realm. Like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to do that. Not everyone has the energy to do that. Sometimes witchcraft is as simple as just waking up in the morning, open the windows, and just looking outside and going, oh, that's perfect, because now you've reset yourself. You're ready to go. Sometimes witchcraft can be as simple as going into your local witchy store and just connecting with the people there. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to spend loads of money on like these top tier tarot cards. I understand not everyone has that community, but it's really good to do that, because if you have just a community online, it's just going to spiral, and you're just going to get stuck in you're just going to start perpetuating the same garbage, and that's not fun for anyone, because then you're not really growing. You're just kind of staying stagnant, and the worst thing you can do is stay stagnant. Trust me. If you can, get off social media as much as possible. I understand in the modern day and age it's not completely possible. It's everywhere you go, unfortunately. Just give yourself a few minutes every day offline, especially WitchTok and TikTok and Instagram. Just stay off them if you can. Find reliable sources if you need to go online. I'm perpetually stuck to my phone, so I know how it feels. But I try and stick with people that I know are verified, real sources and know what they're fucking talking about. You know what I'm trying to say? Replace the tech time that you would normally have with real time as much as you can. And if you can't avoid social media for whatever reason, use the other tips in this video, like, for example, reading books, going on walks, touching grass, and try and put that in your life instead, because it just helps open your mind up. That would be my personal tips for witches, especially baby witches, because again, I know that there's a lot of fucking videos out there that are like, buy your first tarot deck, learn signs, learn astrology, like learn the zodiacs. If you wanted to hear like those things, you'd go and watch those videos. This one I wanted to kind of derive from the norm, because I see a lot of, like, again, people advising these things to baby witches, but they're not actually explaining the basics. Like, people will get into witchcraft and they'll be only be in it for like a few months, because they'll be like, there's nothing happening. And it's like, yeah, well, no, of course nothing's happening, because you don't understand how the fucking atom works. Of course, I don't understand the basics of an atom, but I understand, like, atoms and electrons are everywhere. So magic is just being woo-wah with those things. So if you know how things work, you'll get results. And staying away from toxic mentalities, just giving yourself time to breathe, time to grow, time to develop, and keeping yourself in reality are such important things. I understand that this video has been a bit of a mess. I just kind of wanted it to feel as natural as possible, because again, I've got a lot of knowledge to actually give, but I wanted to also set some ground of how I'm kind of going about this, because the last thing I want to do is mislead anyone. And again, I've been doing this for like a long time, but even to this day, I'm still learning so much. You'll be on and off. Some days you're going to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Some days you're going to be like, actually, I've got really big drive for this all of a sudden. No, but then don't get overwhelmed by it. Just take it easy, take it calm, stay grounded, stay meditated, and you'll go from there. Again, if anyone has any questions or wants to know anything specific, let me know. I'm happy to talk about specific things. I will try and be as informative as possible now going forward, and give you as good researches and resources to come back to as possible. At the end of the day, your experience is yours. Doesn't matter if you disagree. If you do disagree, I would love to hear your reasonings, because at the end of the day, this is a discussion. But if you do disagree, don't be a dick. Be civil. But also, if you are a baby witch and you are a little bit nervous about coming out of the broom closet, or you're not sure where to start, hopefully this video will help with some nice jumping off points. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm not going to do the whole like and subscribe, but if you want to, you can. I'm not really bothered by it, because at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that we're not misinforming people on the internet. So yes, goodbye, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.